Hi everyone, my name is Paulinha and today I'm here with Kirsten.
Hi everyone. Hi Paulinha.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here sharing some of her light with you. And yeah, it feels so inspiring to hear some of your stories and a little bit about your deep devotion journey. So maybe you can start introducing yourself and sharing a little bit of this awakening call, beautiful awakening call that you had that brought you here.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Well, for me, it started with, there was always this feeling that I couldn't completely find my home in this world. Like I wanted to keep moving. There was always this restlessness and this feeling of having to move on and not feeling like it was all in one place. And yet I didn't really know what that meant. And so I would just, find the next way to live my life in a really full way, hoping that would, be the fulfillment. But I reached a point where something in my consciousness was coming up, like fear started coming up. And I didn't understand what it was, but I was feeling more and more unsettled. And then finally I had an accident, a sports accident. And when that happened, everything came to a crashing halt. And I couldn't run away and keep moving anymore. I had to go inward and I had to be still. And then that was the beginning of this journey of, I stayed still long enough for God to find me or reach me. And I started I didn't know about prayer. I didn't know about God. I didn't have a strong connection. But I started turning inward and asking questions and facing feelings and emotions. And then I was just guided step by step of where to go. And that just, before I knew it, I was on a spiritual journey. And I learned to meditate and then doing inner guided forgiveness work. And then Jesus showed up and said, from now on, I will be your guide.
How was this experience like? I really want to hear it because it feels so mystical and so deep, so profound. This first encounter with him. How was it?
Yeah, it was very surprising because I didn't have a relationship with him. So I'd been doing this inner forgiveness work, and in it you go into just like a meditative state, and you open up to having a guide with you in your mind. And it had always been this fuzzy angel that I couldn't quite make out, the face. And then this time when I went inward, I opened this door within my mind just to go on the next inner journey to see what there was to be healed. And it was Jesus standing there, and he just said, from now on, I will be your guide. And I was like, okay. And then from then on, I was in a much more solid listen and follow mode. Before then I was practicing with finding my own way and wanting to listen to inner guidance. But when it was Jesus, it felt very solid, and that he would tell me. And if he wasn't telling me, I wasn't to do it. And so he took that knowing that I had, and he was very clear. So then he told me, move from this town where you're living, move back in with your parents. My mother was into A Course in Miracles by then. So she put the book in front of me. And at first I said, oh no, it's Christian language. But I was like, oh no, I have to ask Jesus. So when I asked him, I had this feeling, absolutely, yes, this is for you. And so, I opened the book, and the first thing I read was so profound. That was it, and he had me.
He had beautiful. Yeah, thank you for sharing this. Yeah, and when I think about you and feel your presence, like I feel this deep devotion and I don't know, something your presence brings like clarity and light. And maybe you can share a little bit about these stepping stones that you're like following his guidance to feel this and be able to share this presence.
Yeah, it's really in the listen follow, I feel, because it's him, it's his light, and I'd had this revelatory experience, like around that time when Jesus showed up. I really needed help, and I called out for help, and when I fell to my knees, just saying, help, I need a guide, I can't, I'm injuring myself, and then that was when I had this overwhelming experience of love, of God's love, and it was so real. And in that experience of love, I knew I just wanted that love to be guiding my life, and because it knew everything. I didn't. So that was the commitment. I think it was to that presence of love, like wanting that to be with me and wanting that to show me the way, because I'd been pushing myself out of fear and doubt and, the ego, this doer push. So there was this commitment to wanting to be in touch with that presence of love within my mind. And then Jesus showing up was, I'll help you with that in a very specific, practical way. And then I'd been into the course for 6 months. And then my mother invited David to come to New Zealand to be with her course group. And so I'd been going through a lot of healing in that 6 months, a lot of emotional healing and feeling the presence of love through the course. And the course group I was with were so sweet. They would just cry every week. They would go, oh my God.
Cleaning,
yeah. So it was a very beautiful start with the course, of it being so heart-opening for those that I was with. And then once David came, it was also such a solid support for knowing the difference between what was the Holy Spirit and what was egoic. Because I still, of course, had a lot of fear to listen and follow. The ego is so afraid of being undone that it blocks the hearing. But I could tell when I was around David when I was blocking it versus when I was really with him in the yes. Yeah. So that really helped me learn the difference. And when I would be afraid or block, or my attack thoughts or ego doubt thoughts would be up, I would feel separate from him. And that also showed me the difference of when am I separate from my brother, and when am I feeling the love, and that I'm in it. There's no. And from there, it's just been shown. I think when I came and first met David, I was witnessing him being in service. And it was so effortless, and it was such a flow of, he was just in this grace of listen and follow. It was just coming through him, just this presence of spirit, and I didn't know how I could be of service, but it was obvious. I was like, oh, I can make tea. I can feed the cats. No, I can help with various things. And every time I was being of service, even in the simplest of ways, it wasn't serving a person, it wasn't serving for myself, it wasn't because something in the world needed my service, it was joining in serving God. And that feeling, that awareness is devotion. It's the way to be in the presence of the Holy Spirit. So that's been the guiding light that I've just every day, every morning I wake up, and it's, how may I serve your plan today? And it's just kept being shown of what it looks like. And feeling such gratitude for all the support and the care, that has come to me, that I just feel so grateful, and that's then mine to extend.
Beautiful. And how was it for you going towards David? Because it's such as you said, like a transparent presence that you can really watch your mind. And how was it giving this step towards the healing, towards the devotion, towards it looks like him, but yeah, because I actually, now is maybe the time to share the book. Kirsten wrote this book, I Married a Mystic. As soon we're gonna have this in Portuguese, so we're gonna share the link below here in this video for you to have it. And it's a beautiful book, very transparent, very honest. She talks about many topics here, really practical topics that we faced in our daily basis, practicing the course. And yeah, and here you share that when you met him, Jesus told you, I need you to trust him. And it's beautiful because he's a symbol, but such a transparent and strong symbol. So how was it for you really going towards, and I don't know, I have this feeling that maybe brought up many resistance and doubt thoughts and everything that you shared a little bit, so we could hear a little bit. How was it?
Sure. Well, I would say it was first and foremost a magnet.
Yeah.
I was so pulled towards the light in him, and I recognized it because of that revelatory experience I'd had. I recognized the same light and love and presence that was not of this world in him. So that immediately felt very safe and known and trustworthy. And I was healed in his presence. When I first met him, when he came to New Zealand, I was recovering from brain damage from the head injury from the accident, and I was very tired, and the world made me tired, but when I was listening to him speak, my mind was being washed. It felt like just being washed with the Holy Spirit. And it was so restful and relaxing and peaceful, and everything was just like water running through my mind. And I just felt these miracles of healing happening, you know, from being able to just be, you know. And so that was the foundation, and it was so guided, and him showing up, the symbols, what I heard right before he arrived, like, this is your life partner. And watching a video, and it was, what do you mean, my life partner? He's an American Course in Miracles teacher who goes around talking about God. That's not my life. But it was Jesus knowing the script and telling me, no, this is your life calling. This is your mighty companions showing up. You know. And then as I kept taking the steps, it was going towards him and joining in more fully with him, then of course I would see where I was attached to something else and afraid of losing, you know, something else, like myself, really, my identity, my, who I believe I am in the world. And so each step that I was taking to keep going towards the light and towards God, it would just flush up the belief in sacrifice. And so as long as I brought it to David and I was willing to share with him my heart, my fear, my thoughts, then he was right there saying, I'm with you. There is no sacrifice. What do you need? And it was so loving and gentle and supportive, and I could feel like he would go to the ends of the earth with me. You know, it was Jesus through him saying, I will walk there with you. What do you need? Like, let's go there together. So I could move it through it with him and then feel like I wasn't alone, you know, in facing anything. So, as long as I was open, then there was humbleness and there was authentic healing. But if I was closed, then there would be a division, or then there would be pride would come in, the ego's defense in some way, like I don't need to share this, or I don't, it's not important, you know. And so, but then it would grow into, well, David's not really important, you know, or doing this is not very important. The ego would really minimize the value because the present healing was not an awareness anymore. If I pulled away from it or shut it down, then it was just, the awakening was minimized. And then it was all about the form or the doing, and then the protest would come up of, why should I do this anyway?
Wow.
So as long as I stayed very honest with myself, radically honest, to go, hey, okay, and how do I feel? Really, truly, I know what it feels like to be with God. Then I could open up and go inward and work with my mind. But then once those early phases of the belief in sacrifice and undoing a lot of specialness, once I'd moved through those, then I could collaborate with him. And that's really what it's all for, is to be able to have my mind and our minds healed enough that we can let the spirit flow through us together, and that we can join in the joy of serving God together, and we can flow without the ego shutting it down. Exactly. So we've had countless like inspiring collaborations, just countless, just, yeah. But yeah, it felt very intense because I think what I faced was so quick, you know, being around him. I could easily see that I was right-minded or wrong-minded, and so I had to face it.
It's definitely a fast track.
It's a fast track. Yeah.
Beautiful. And how do you feel now? I mean, like, taking all these steps, like, where do you feel that it's your mind now? Like,
just in a place of gratitude. Yeah, such gratitude. I feel just gratitude for clarity, feeling like I can see what's happening, and that I can rest. I think that was such a call. Like I wanted to rest. I wanted to stop. But I also wanted to expand.
Yes, that's a good question, actually. It's a personal question, like how we do this, because it's so beautiful to watch you, like in function, like any function. Like yesterday we were like doing distangling all these lights from our Christmas tree here, and then we were like so lift up, and then we were like shoveling. I will learn this word. Shoveling the snow, and you were like so like in function, so active, so like really expanding the love, but also at the same time like in this restless state of mind. So how we do this, really share with us.
Yeah. Well, that's a huge part of of our pathway, is being done through. The goal is to be done through by the Holy Spirit. And so whatever the project is that we're doing, or the task that we're doing, it's for prayer and for listening and being with the Spirit. And that's the purpose. That's the only purpose, the only true purpose of everything that we're doing. It's for awakening and healing the mind and deepening the connection with Spirit. So just after so many years of that, then that becomes a fact, and the body is being used as a puppet, you know, to shovel the snow or untangle the lights. But in my mind, it's a feeling of just being with God. Or when we were doing the lights together, just being really tuned in, and there's a feeling, how does it feel? It feels good, carry on. I feel a miracle coming. Oh, look, it all untangled itself.
Yes.
You know? And
it was really tangled, like really, really tangled.
It was. But it felt like a joy. It felt like this joy of being there together. So yeah, that's really what everything is for. And a lot of the healing, undoing of the ego, happens through having this one purpose that we're doing everything for. And it's very, very supported. Just to remember that. So there's been a lot of learning to stop, pause, check in. How does this feel? What is it for? Am I truly in alignment with the Holy Spirit's purpose? Or has the doer come in, which is my personal identity of wanting to do it myself or do it my way? Or you can feel the difference between when it's the flow of the Spirit doing it through you, or there's just an edge,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like a hard, you can feel a hard edge that comes in, or a pride that comes in, and it pushes others away. It's like, I'm doing it. You know? And sometimes that's very subtle, and other times it's really obvious.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just a lot of practice with that, with noticing and practicing with others. That's where, you know, being around mighty companions is so invaluable, because you get to practice collaborating together, and you can see immediately if it's flowing in the spirit or it's not.
Yeah.
And when the purpose is to be in the spirit together, then you're always willing to say, stop, you know, let's just pause.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm feeling to ask you about prayer. Maybe you have something to share with our friends there in Brazil, because I feel that it's like such an important topic for our practicing, and everything you shared actually was like being this prayer state. So yeah, I'm feeling to ask you, like, how is for you now, like this practicing of prayer, like how you do it.
Yeah. Well, I'd say now, for the most part, it's just happening. There's this inner listening that is always there. Like, I'm just listening, and it feels more like feeling the flow, feeling the direction, feeling the yes or the no. And to get to that point, it felt like separate prompts, like stop, ask, like pray, ask for help or ask for the direction, listen to the answer, and then follow it. And sometimes there was resistance to hearing it, or there was resistance to following it. So there could be big gaps. You know. But is that the resistance, the ego's resistance to the following, praying, listening, following, has been washed away, then it's more that it is very immediate. So there've been different phases or different assignments to be in the practice of prayer. And like, if I'm going to, there was a phase where I was like overseeing community, and so I would pray and I would get a download from the Spirit with all of the specifics of what was happening for everybody that day. And that was really helpful for me to develop a lot of confidence that I could hear everything. Because there was always this fear, what if I don't hear the Holy Spirit? What if I miss something important? There was this fear of lacking hearing. So those phases were really helpful. Like, don't doubt, you're hearing me. And then there were phases where I wasn't hearing specifics anymore. And it was a phase of, no, just trust. You can feel the direction and you'll hear it if it's important, but it's not for you to hear all of that anymore. It's time for others to hear what they need to hear.
Wow.
Like, trust, you've done your part of sharing it so much that they've been receiving the clarity through you. Now trust them.
And you were there, like holding this space and trust them.
Yeah. Or joining, like, what are you hearing? Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So it's, transferred. And then there's other times where it just feels like it's just a quiet listening. It's not about hearing specifics. It's not about doing. And I think that's been important phases, to dissociate praying and doing, to more like release that into praying and being. It's about just pray and feel the love and listen to silence and know that there's nothing to do and nowhere to go. And that's very valuable. Prayer time. So it feels now that it just feels constant, whether it's just praying, being in silence, or it's like praying to hear what's helpful. But it's really just asking to be with you, with God, or with Jesus, with the Spirit. And then when it's felt, it's there, and it's just being in that flow.
Beautiful. Yeah. I'm just here being. Feels good to receive this. I don't know if you have something else in your heart that you feel to extend here.
I think just trust that it's trustworthy, that Jesus is trustworthy, and the kind of faith that he has in us is so far beyond the faith that we have in him or in ourselves, and he's there to supply what we need, supply faith. And we do get shown, we can't mess it up, or we can't not be shown the path, because it's God's will, and it is our will. Like the very fact that we found the course, we found each other, means that we've said yes, and that's it. And the rest will keep showing up and keep being revealed to us every step of the way. And so if our prayer is just, like Jesus says, put the kingdom of heaven first and all else will be added, and it's true. Like, just pray to be shown and to serve the Holy Spirit's purpose, and he provides the means. He provides everything we need to wake up, because we're giving the whole world this purpose. Like, help me, help me wake up. That's my goal. That's my purpose. So, and he just wants us to know how loved we are, that we are loved so deeply. And that's the whole point of everything, is to remember that we're loved and to feel the connection with his voice and his heart.
Yeah. I joined you in this prayer. Yeah, wow. Beautiful. Yeah, maybe you can share how our friends there can find you on social media, or I have this feeling that they'll feel to follow you, keep following your light.
Beautiful. Or Kirsten Buxton. You can Google Kirsten Buxton, and there's a lot of videos and talks, and think on Facebook it's probably just Kirsten Buxton.
I can put the link below, please.
Great. Yeah. Or Kiwi Girl Mystic is the other name that's my Gmail. And that comes up if that's a name used anywhere else too.
And thank you so much. Thank you for showing us the way. Thank you for all this devotion. And thank you for joining us here.
Yeah, thank you, Paulina. Thank you, everyone. Blessings.
See you soon.